Hey, how's your money doing? Let's just dive in, huh? Welcome to the Culturalist podcast, Conversations with Pam Ross. I'm Pam Ross, and my conversation today was about not just how's your bank account, how's your investment accounts, how your savings accounts. Today, I had a conversation about is your holistic financial health. Man, it was such an education for me. So many times during the podcast, I was doing this and I was doing this. Today, I had this conversation with the amazing Jimmy E. Mitchell II. He grew up in Gary, Indiana, not really known for a lot of money. Uh, Grew up in hardship. We talked about that, and we talked about what he learned, and we talked about your genetic code. We talked about transforming your mind. And then we went over to Patreon and we talked about money in the faith context, in the faith community. Some of the amazing things that we pulled out of there: identity, beliefs, emotional relationship with money. I took good notes. We talked about wealth is not just about what's in your bank account, it's about your thinking, your habits, and your legacy. We talked about your relationship with your boundaries and how do you know when you're really ready to be wealthy. Yeah. So, listen, all of his information is right there in the show notes. He is a money expert in a different kind of way. It's not just dollars and cents. It's you, it's your soul, it's your mind, it's your history, it's your DNA. So check out this conversation. It's called From Struggle to Strategy with Jimmy Mitchell. Hi, I'm Pam Ross, the Culturalist. I love good conversations with interesting people. In this podcast, we use the art of conversation to explore what's happening in culture. Thanks for joining us. Mr. Jimmy Mitchell.
Yes, ma'am, Dr. Pam. I'm so glad to be here.
Sir, thank you so much for taking the time. I know people are busy these days and you could be anywhere doing anything, but you are here smiling at me and I'm so happy. I love you so much. I will never forget. I don't know, you know how sometimes we meet people and then we get to know
Yes,
them and we meet people.
yes,
You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
you can be
Yeah,
introduced to someone and then there's a moment where you meet them beyond what they look like.
absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, and I remember when I met you, it was at the end of a conference. I felt like God had wrecked me for normal. You know how that happens. God had wrecked me for normal. I'm like, what am I going to do with my life now? And so I was sitting on the stage
hmm
looking at the chairs. Like practically everybody was gone, and I was sitting on the stage looking at the chairs, and I maybe I had a look on my face that you recognize, like this lady's trying to figure her life out.
Yeah.
Like, how's God gonna totally discombobulate you, and then you have to go back into your world, someone completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you came over and sat next to me. You
Sounds
did.
like me.
Which is
Sounds like
for
me.
me, just for me in that situation, it was very different from someone coming, standing, looking at you,
hmm
or me sitting and you standing, you know? You
hmm
came and sat next to me to see the world as I was seeing it. I'm gonna try not to get emotional. And
Oh.
yeah, and then you began to tell me what God was gonna do with my life. You said this is just the beginning.
Oh my goodness. And see, you know what? It's so funny you bring this up because see, my introduction to you
Uh-huh.
goes all the way back to my childhood church when you would come in and train our helps department.
Yeah.
And I had no business being in those meetings, but because my mother took me everywhere with her, I was
Yes.
sitting right there and I was
Yes.
learning
So
just like
you're like
everyone else.
little Samuel in the house
Y-
of God. Yeah.
Little Samuel, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was
Learning
learning about
all the
servant
things.
leadership.
Yeah. And so then you see me in a whole different environment. And I'm just so thankful that you are who you are. And I'm so happy that you're in this financial space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because people need it. I think the world is getting a little bit nervous about money right now.
Sure.
And regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, folks are like, what the heck?
Is
If you
going on.
thank you,
Yeah.
unless you have I don't know, unless you just high all the time.
Yes.
Somewhere you got to be saying, "Okay, God, you know, what the heck? What's happening here?" So I want to start at the beginning with you, and I'm really hoping that by the end of this particular podcast, people will have um, some hope from your testimony. They'll have some faith, and they'll also have some work, some steps that they can begin to take to kind
Sure.
of put their faith to work. So I got notes for this one so I can stay on track. When it's people that I know and love, I got to have notes because if
Oh,
not,
I
we'll
get
talk.
it. I get it.
Yeah,
We'll talk about
yeah.
everything.
We'll talk about everything. So I want to talk about. I'm calling this segment the story behind this the strategy. And you grew up in Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana.
Yes, which I love. A beautiful city on the lake.
Yes,
Yeah, beautiful city on the lake, but not necessarily a prosperous city. The money, I felt like the money was inside the people. But you drive through Gary and you're not really going to see mansions and, you know, it's
you won't.
it's yeah, you're not going to see it. So that season of you growing up in Gary, Indiana became a classroom for you.
It did. It did.
Yeah. How did growing up in that kind of a city become a classroom for you about how what money was and how it worked?
Growing up in Gary, Indiana was, as you can imagine, it was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So going there, both parents were married at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and once my parents divorced, watching how rigorous my mother's work life was,
Yes.
my mother at one point worked three jobs just to make ends meet.
Wow.
So you just think about how much time and effort and energy my mother had to put into her working life. But then I want you to also think about the latter part where she wasn't as present or involved with
Yeah.
us as her children as we
Yeah.
needed
As
her
a
to be.
result. Yeah.
Because, and I think not to go ahead of you, I think that's one of the byproducts of scarcity mindset. That's one of
Yes.
the byproducts of poverty, right? It makes you have
Mm-hmm.
to choose. And so, what I learned, because you mentioned it being a classroom, what I learned is
Mm-hmm.
that, hey, wealth gives you options, but poverty makes you choose.
Ooh, yeah.
It
It's
makes you
it's like it's
choose.
demanding a sacrifice. Because
Absolutely.
when I think about somebody working three jobs, ideally it'd be okay, one job pays my bills, one job is my retirement, one job is my kids' college fund. But in that, but most people, nobody chooses to work three jobs on purpose or wants to,
Mm-mm.
but she's working three jobs simply to support her family. But the sacrifice was on the back end of it of, wow, I can't choose to be with my kids.
Can't. I don't have the
Yeah,
option to be with
I
my
don't have the
kids.
option to do it.
I
Yeah.
don't have the option. And I think what I recognize is that even though my mother worked three jobs, we
Mm-hmm.
still came up short.
Wow.
We still came up short. And so I then later learned that money is not as much of a problem more than it is a soul issue, right? You can
Really?
make money and still not have the ability or the internal strength to manage it correctly, right? And so
Mm.
I always thought growing up, because I was so desperate to outrun my story and the things that I had
Yeah.
experienced growing up as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through watching cars be repossessed, being
Yep.
waking up in the middle of the night. I've gone through homelessness twice, as a kid growing up. And
Wow.
so like seeing all these different things happen, I was so desperate to outrun my lived experience as a child, thinking that, okay, once I get older, once I graduate, I'm going to make all the money that I can in the world. And that was my solution to outrunning poverty. But what I then
Thinking
later
if I just
learned,
get more, if
yep.
I get more, I'll never have to live these kind of days again.
And that's not the
Yeah.
truth, because the presence of money does not mean the absence of poverty.
Can we just slow down? Presence of money does not mean the absence of poverty because people are trying to get out of poverty. People are
Yes.
really even trying to get out of survival mode, like
Yeah.
just literally hand to mouth. Most people, from the research I've done, most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Most
Yeah.
people cannot afford to miss three paychecks.
They can't.
Three, you're out, like literally out of your house, out of your cars. And
Yes.
so they think, I just need more. And you're saying, no, that's not it. That's not all.
That's not all. Because see, if I
Ah,
acquire more money and I don't do, the Bible says this, that beloved, I wish above all that you would prosper and be in good
yes.
health, even as
Yes.
your soul prospers. And so the gap in your finances has to do with the gap that's in your soul, right? And so
Jesus.
you can never prosper beyond the condition of the quality of your soul. And I later recognized that, okay, Jimmy, if you're going to manage money well, you have to
Yeah.
make sure that you first manage yourself well. I cannot externally manage something if I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
good steward or if I'm not disciplined enough in managing myself. And I think that is the power of discipline. That is the power of wholeness and healing, which is why I
Yeah.
take more of a holistic approach to when it comes to money.
Yeah. Let me ask you this thing when you said if you can't manage yourself well, what
Hmm.
are some of the ways you can tell, or even me or a listener could tell, am I managing myself well? Like,
Oh,
what would you
sure.
ask me if I were a client? What would
Hmm.
you ask me to say, so that you would know, is she
Hmm.
managing her soul well?
What's your relationship like with your boundaries?
Ah, how hard is it for me to say no?
How hard is it for you to say no? Because what
Yeah.
we don't recognize, I wrote a
Oh
book
my
called
goodness. That hit me twice. Sorry.
what I wrote a book called The Financial Fast, and I use this example in the book. And in the book, I talk about how when God created the heavens and the earth, right, he
Yes,
created boundaries, right?
he did.
He told the fowls of the air, fly here, right? He told the sea,
Yes.
and he created a boundary, right?
Yes.
That boundary allowed us, if we go on a vacation, if we were to go on a vacation right now and go to, let's say, Cancun, we
Mm-hmm.
could look out of our hotel window and we can see the ocean, right?
Yes.
We'll see it. It has a line. It's not coming all the way up where the hotels
Yes.
are. It's staying right there, but it gives us that boundary creates that ocean view for us to see.
My God.
And so when it comes to money, when you don't have boundaries around your money, you have no idea what your cash flow looks like, how much is coming in, how much is going out, where is it going. And so boundaries give us the ability to see the full picture. And so
Yeah.
when we don't embrace boundaries or put them in place, we don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's going on.
This is such an interesting place to start if you're having a conversation about money,
Hmm.
is ask somebody, what's your relationship like with your boundaries? How hard is it for you to say no?
Hmm.
One of the things I love to do is, I live near the beach. Praise his holy name.
Lucky you. I'm over here in cold Chicago.
Sir, I enjoy it. I God has truly blessed me. And um and the house we're in is on, like, overlooks water,
Hmm.
which is so lovely. But
Hmm.
one of the things I like to do is go and walk along the beach. And this is a phrase I use. This is why it hit me twice. I use a phrase called, I'm gonna go watch this water behave. That's literally
Mm.
what I say to my husband. Hey, babe,
Hmm.
I'm gonna go out to the beach and watch this water behave. And I will walk along and see the waves come in and see the waves go out.
Return. Yeah.
Yes. And
Yep.
think about the fact that if I'm made in God's image, now I'm going to be thinking about the fact that if I'm made in God's image, I should have a healthy relationship with boundaries, particularly as I'm building my life. Yeah.
Absolutely. And but see, when you have, and this is, I'm not trying to get ahead of you at all, but
That's okay. Let's do it.
when we think about self-control or even having to tell ourselves no, we don't want anybody telling us no.
We
We
don't.
don't. And so we don't like boundaries because boundaries feel like restriction and we don't see boundaries as protection. And so when I'm meeting with clients and I'm telling them, hey, so here's your monthly budget, right? Here's what's coming in, here's what's going out, here's what's left over. Here's what needs to be cut. Here's what you should consider removing. Here's what you should consider adding, right? When
Yeah.
you tell people this, they don't like to be told what to do. And what I've come to find out, a lot of that traces back to being told no in childhood, right? Think about wanting a
Mm.
pair of shoes and your parents
Yes.
telling you, no, we're not
No.
getting that. Even if
We're
they
not.
had the means to get it, they're saying, we're not getting that.
Right.
Or if they
Right.
really did not have the means to get it. And what you don't recognize is you have become this adult trying to vindicate that young teenager or that little boy or girl by overly consuming things that you should probably be saving or investing, right?
How many times have people said, I got McDonald's money now?
I got McDonald's money now. But you know that
So,
we all were to go back and ask for a refund, we probably will all be rich.
oh my goodness.
All be
So trying to,
rich.
yeah, trying to vindicate them. Or even like I wasn't spoiled, or even if you had some jealousy growing up, if you were around people, they got more. How come I don't have more? And now I get
Absolutely.
older. Now I'm gonna wear all my money.
Yep.
Now I want everybody to know what I now I want to be that person.
Yep.
That
Yep.
I couldn't be before. I want to be that person. So you look into boundaries. Are there any other ways where you look to see how I'm doing and managing myself, or is my soul ready to prosper?
Yeah. I typically also ask people like, hey, are you a spender or saver? Because that
Mm,
lets me know where your value system is. Jesus said it like this: where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So
yes,
then when I have the opportunity to walk through line items with them, it helps me see what their value system is. If I see
I
that
see.
your most of your money is going towards food, or the
Yeah,
most of your money is going towards an aesthetic, or the most of your money is
yes.
going toward, it helps me see then where your value system is.
Restaurants or
Yep.
those kind of things. So
Yep.
I've heard people say this, your checkbook. Now you know I'm old because I said checkbook, but that your
Yeah.
nobody writes checks anymore, not even me too much. But the idea of your financial statement will reveal your values,
100%. Yep.
where you put your money.
Because statements don't lie.
No, they really don't.
Data does
They
not
really
lie.
don't. Oh my,
Data
you know
does
what it's
not
like? It's
lie.
like tracking calories.
Yes. Yep.
Whew, I started like I'm sure there is a financial equivalent to this. So I love my little local, here's a plug for my little local YMCA. So I am working out 5 days a week, going, having a great time.
Hmm.
But if on the back end, I'm not counting calories. So you
You have a way of measuring.
you have a way of measuring. Like, wait a minute, why is nothing changing? So folks could they could do one thing but not the other. They can make money but not measure, balance it, track it on that end.
Sure.
And what are some of the reasons why you think people don't track it? Like, I just don't want to face it. I
Woo.
don't want to look at it.
You know,
Now
you
that's a
know,
soul issue.
that's a sole issue. So it's avoidant behavior, right? So we
Yep.
do not want to look in that mirror. We do not want to be told the truth because I think what we end up doing is we make an identity out of our behavior. So instead of hearing me tell you that, hey, this is wrong, what you hear is you are wrong. And so, because you
Ah,
are
yes.
connecting your habits to your value, to your identity, to your self worth, we tend to avoid anything that makes us feel
Mm-hmm.
less than. And
Yeah.
so, until we're able to embrace truth, you
Yep.
will never be able to grow or change your situation. The amount of truth that you're able to take without running from it truly reveals how mature or how ready you are.
I love this idea of until you're ready to embrace truth, until you're ready to embrace the financial facts. Hey, this is what's going on. What is there a revelation that people need that's going to help them say, I'm ready to face it?
I really believe the revelation is that when God tells us in his word, right, that he desires truth in the inward parts, he really
Well,
means that he desires truth in the inward parts.
yeah.
And I remember God gave me this revelation one day while studying. He asked me a question. He said, do you know why I desire truth in the inward parts? I said, no, Lord, why?
Yeah, we just know that you do.
Because he told me
Yeah.
deception is not always visible.
Oh, wow.
Deception is not
Hmm.
always visible. And
No.
so we walk on autopilot. Our behaviors are really connected to our subconscious, right? So our
Yes.
subconscious has us operating and doing things all the time, right?
Yep.
And so if you're not regularly embracing truth, how are you going to renew your mind? How are you? Because see, to
Yeah.
change your habits, you have to change your mind, which means I have to
Hmm.
be able to embrace truth if I'm going to
Yes.
change my habits, right? So I
Hmm.
got to
Yeah.
embrace that truth. So I think, honestly speaking, until you're able to embrace the truth,
Yeah.
and let truth go into your inward parts, you will
Hmm.
not be able to change the other habits that you have financially. Because
And that
discipline is really connected to your mindset.
Okay. This idea of, man, I see everything through a leadership lens pretty much. I
Yeah.
can't help it. It's just how God made me. And so often I tell even my own team, I'm not coming for your identity, I'm coming for your idea.
So good. That's so
Yeah. So
good.
if I disagree with your idea, doesn't mean I don't love you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't defend your identity. I'm not coming for that. I'm coming for this idea that I think is could use some more development.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. And I think that what I'm hearing is you saying, when I look at your habits, I'm not making an accusation against you
Mm-mm.
because this is your behavior.
This is your
Let's
behavior.
align it to who you say you are.
Correct.
If but you got to get the person's agreement. Do you want to be disciplined? Do you want to build wealth? That's the maturity part.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, yeah, now I'm willing to let somebody
Measure
discipline.
me.
Yeah,
I'm willing. We run from measurement. We run
we
from measurement.
weighed and
Because
measured now. You cussing now.
you
Ah,
think you know you literally think about Adam and Eve when they were naked. It was like, oh my
yes,
goodness, I am naked,
yes.
I am seen, and we do not want to be seen. But
And we
see,
say that we do though. We say, "Oh, I feel so seen. Oh, I feel so seen." But
mm-mm.
really, you're not really seen until folks uncover the stuff that you're trying to hide.
Yep.
Good
Until you
God.
feel that little ounce of shame want to come up and try to take
Uh-huh.
control, you ain't been
Yes.
seen yet. If you
You
don't feel a
haven't
little level
really.
of embarrassment or shame, you haven't really been
You
seen
haven't
yet.
been seen. My
Yeah.
goodness.
You want people to see the surface, but like it really requires you to uncover.
Yeah.
It
What's going
requires you to
on?
uncover, yeah, because your finances really do reveal the activity of your soul. It does. It
Yes.
shows what's going on. Because I made a reel some back in January, and I said,
Uh-huh.
hey, your budget is not the problem. Your nervous system is.
You know what? Can we talk about this? Because first of all, your social media account, y'all please get in these notes and follow this man because I've never seen anybody, and there's all the people are out there. I'm not going to name
Yeah.
all their names because they're not my guest today, but all those
Yeah.
people are out there that have all the programs that people purchase and
hmm
fail. And then they feel like a failure.
hmm
Oh, I tried that. That didn't work for me. Oh, I tried
hmm
this. That didn't work for me. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you is because this idea of holistic wealth building from the
hmm
inside out. It's not what you're doing with the numbers on your phone and in your account. Something's
hmm
going on inside of you that if we get to it, it can change your relationship with money.
It can change your relationship with money because when you are dysregulated, your soul is not saying, hey, let me reach for that budget I created last week. It's saying, hey, let's go to Target or let's get online and shop at Shein or let's go
Yes.
to the mall and go get X, Y, and Z
Yes.
because that is how, or what we call retail therapy, that is how you regulate yourself.
We
That's how you
soothe.
regulate yourself. Yeah, you soothe yourself. And so
Yes.
you're looking for that dopamine high. It's like, okay, I feel horrible about myself. I don't like what's going on currently.
Uh-huh. I'm
I'm
about to buy this
dysregulated.
new.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because these pair of shoes are going to make me feel better.
Yeah. And why? Like,
It's,
why does it make us feel better? Is it we're caught in a I'm contending for us, sir, because
yes.
we're caught in this thing. Like we have this whole fake picture of the American dream that tells us we should have this, this, and this by this age. Then at the same time, we've got capitalism saying, spend it, buy it. And we can get caught up in that world system of I should have this. I'm gonna go get this. It's like we're listening to the spend and buy, and then we can't invest in the things we should. Then we feel embarrassed. And then how do we get out of feeling embarrassed? We go spend and buy.
We go spend money. I said, you know, I'm embarrassed. Let me go buy this. Only to rinse and repeat the cycle. But it's so
Yes.
interesting because when you study, people study human behavior,
Yeah.
especially these corporations and these organizations, and
Yes.
they're profiting off of your lust. And if I can broaden the definition of lust, I'm not talking about the sexual kind of lust. I'm talking
No.
about your untamed appetite and desire for things. They are profiting off of that. They are profiting off of your ability or your inability, I should say,
Yeah.
to regulate yourself, right? They know
Wow.
that you are going to use retail therapy as a
Yep. As
means of
therapy.
regulation. Yep,
Yeah.
as therapy. This is what's going to help regulate. So they encourage you to buy. They create these ads. They do all this marketing campaigning to get you to further
Yep.
perpetuate the cycle that you are desperately needing to escape.
Hey guys, it's Pam Ross. I want to invite anyone out there who is a church staffer or you're a key volunteer in your church to head over to Patreon and check out the Lead Well Premium level. We're going to give you my entire self-paced library, every webinar, every course, every PDF, every example for your access. And you can learn what you want at the pace that suits you. In addition to that, we're also going to give you some live Q&A, some coaching calls. We're going to give you a beautiful community of other people that serve at their churches. We're so excited. My entire team is excited about loading this up. So go over to Patreon, look for the Culturalist podcast, and check out what's available at the Lead Well premium level so you can build, connect, and lead well. My goodness. The way out is truth.
The way out is truth. You gotta
The
be
way
able,
out is truth.
you gotta embrace truth. You gotta work with a professional. You have to, here's the thing. I can't be like, you know what, Jimmy? I need to work out. I need to get my body together. I need to now all these years, you ain't been eating right, you ain't been
Come on
disciplined
now.
in the gym, all the things
You're not
like
going to
that.
flip that coin in one moment.
And not on your own either.
Mm-mm.
Not on your own either, which is why you
Mm-mm.
need a coach, which is why you need somebody to help guide you. Because again, you've not gone this way before. And guess what? You'll let yourself off the hook. The other person that is responsible for
Well,
helping you to develop you, they're not going to let
yes.
you off the hook.
Yes. This is why people love coaching. This, and a
Yes.
lot of it is how I love coaching.
Yeah.
Before I coach somebody, I have questions that I ask to see if they're really ready to face themselves, like you, and how much of a how how much discipline can I give you? How much pushback, honest feedback can you really take? Some people
Hmm.
say, I need to be adjusted. I need to get this done, whatever.
Hmm.
And then when you push them to get it done, sometimes they appreciate it. Sometimes they drop off the face of the earth. But
Hmm.
this idea of you need help because you had help getting in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had help getting in it, all these external voices, you had help getting in it, maybe even through childhood shame or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had help getting in it, but people hesitate to get help getting out because
They get because it requires being seen. And I'm telling you,
oh,
one of the fruits of shame is a person hiding.
very true.
It'll cause
Very
you to
true.
hide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do
But
you
it's
break shame? Like if I and it comes from several ways. I was talking to my firstborn daughter. You probably remember her. She's
Mhm.
early 30s, right?
Okay.
And she had a birthday, and I asked her what she wanted for her birthday. And she said, I actually have a little Amazon list because friends are asking me. I said, well, how wonderful to be loved. So I went on her Amazon list, and one of them was a financial book. And I said, oh, this is what I'm getting. I'm getting
This
her
is my
this.
investment.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I'm getting her this and a couple of other things, but we're going to get you this because she's indicating an openness to getting a grip on this money.
Yeah.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
say
And
I'm ready to learn.
ready
Hmm.
to learn. And then, I think people get discouraged because again, everybody's thinking is I'm not good with numbers. Well, if you are good with self-stewardship, the
Yeah.
numbers part will become easier, right? Like
Really.
if you manage you well, if you learn how to regulate your emotions, how to change your mindset,
Hmm.
seeing money correctly is going to be easier, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah.
so much easier because until you see a thing correctly, you won't handle it correctly.
Tell me the name of your book again. I know it's in my notes.
It's called the financial fast.
The financial fast. Does the financial fast give us some tools? Because I think sometimes people are motivated by vision.
Hmm.
I'm speaking like the culturalist here. We're
Hmm.
motivated by vision. If you have a personal vision of your life, what you want it to be, you can be motivated by that and you can get some
Yep.
stuff done.
Yep.
Sometimes people are motivated by pain.
Sure.
Just say, I'm sick of these bills, is what I
Yeah.
am. And I want to go on a
Absolutely.
real vacation? And so whether you are motivated by vision, motivated by pain,
Hmm.
does the financial fast give us tools that help us to regulate so that and give us the courage to say, you can do this. You can dig out of this.
Absolutely. And I'm actually intentionally confronting shame. I'm confronting the whole failure mentality. Like I've tried this before and it didn't work. And even to
Yeah.
help people walk this out, right? Because you don't want to give principle and then not give them the ability to exercise the principle that you just gave
Yes.
them. I
That's what
cre-
I'm getting at.
I created a 60-day workbook to complement the book to go along with
Mm,
it. So it's a bundle package. Like you can buy the book singular, but then you also
yeah.
can buy the bundle package where you can have the book, read through it,
Yeah.
and then also for 60 days, you can actively approach each prompt and do what it's instructing you to do. And the number
I
60
love
is
it.
intentional
Yes.
because I love psychology. I love studying the mind and understanding the brain and how it
Of
works.
course you do.
Um, Neuroscientists say it takes anywhere between 60 to 90 days just to establish a new neural pathway in the brain,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so those neural pathways is what helps us form habits and for those habits
That's
to
right.
stick. And so that's why I said, okay, we're going to do a 60-day workbook. That's 2 months of
Yes.
intentionality that could
Yes.
change the trajectory of a person's financial life.
My gosh. And if you can fix that, imagine the courage and the inspiration. Someone will say, if I got this together, I can get the next thing together. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I just love how God works so often. There's a thing that I want. And the Lord will say, the pathway to get the thing that you want is through healing.
It's
Well,
through
because he's
healing.
such a good father, he just really wants to heal you, right?
Yep.
He just really wants to heal you, strengthen you, prepare you for your future. So he simply is using that desire for more to get you through that healing. Because what I love is, even in this conversation so far, you
Hmm.
have never condemned people for wanting more.
Nope.
It's the misuse of that desire, you know?
Yep. It's the
It's the
misuse of it.
misuse of it. And it reminds me of when the disciples were arguing about who's going to be the greatest. And the Lord said, well, if you want to be the greatest, you got to learn to serve. And he didn't say, stop trying to be great. So you're not telling anybody, hey, stop trying to have things. You're saying, hey, don't use things to feed the parts of you that are broken. There's a God for that.
There's a God for that. I'll even give you another scripture in James chapter 3.
Hmm.
James is actually confronting the church and he's saying to them, you desire and you have not because you want to consume it upon your lust,
My God.
right? And so he's
And lust
not,
is never satisfied.
and is never satisfied. And he was not talking about sexual sin. He was talking
No.
about, hey, your unbridled, your untamed, your unvetted desire, that appetite for more
Yeah.
is here, but
Yeah.
because the motivation is off, you will not
You're not
ascertain what it
getting
is
it.
you're
You're
reaching
not getting
for.
it.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
goodness.
And so I think God is more concerned about the motive for why you want
Yes,
what
as
you
he
want.
always is.
Yeah,
He has no problem with you having something new and looking nice and all that stuff.
he
But if
has
your
no problem
motive
with
is
it.
off, you'll never be satisfied.
You will never be satisfied.
And a lack of satisfaction, look at me, you can tell I got a light bulb moment. The
Mm,
lack of satisfaction means I don't have any boundaries.
I don't have any boundaries, and I've not learned contentment.
Oh my, yeah. Yeah, I'll take more. I want more. Oh, I want that. I want that. You just got that. Yeah, but I don't have that one. And now I'm finding myself in this snowball and
And
I
it's
need to,
and
yeah,
at the point where you're not satisfied, it should make you question, okay, no matter what I get, I'm not
it's not
satisfied. What's
enough.
going on? Like what's going on in here? Because that
Yeah.
means I'm trying to compensate externally for something that's going on internally.
Sir, let me tell you, I saw an interview. I'm holding my head, right? I saw an interview of an Oscar winning actor who had come from poverty, as a lot of
Hmm.
people do. So, and so the interviewer was asking him, now that you're out of that realm, now
Hmm.
that you can pretty much go where you want, buy where you want, you got time freedom, you got money freedom, you got all that. Are you resting now? Do you feel more at peace? And he said, no, because now I have to worry about losing it. Which means it speaks right to your point of, listen, if you're not satisfied with it, you'll never be satisfied. It's not more. That's not what's
Yep.
going to give it to you. Not just
Yep.
having more and more and more. I think it's
Yep.
interesting that this idea of holistic health and recognizing the real questions.
Hmm.
I had another friend who she joined this weight loss group at her church. She
Mhm.
didn't lose any weight, but she stopped smoking. She said,
I guess a win's a win.
I didn't lose nary a pound. But you know what God was dealing with me about?
She said, I stopped smoking those cigarettes though.
He said, this is what you gonna do.
A win is a win.
A win is a win. And so even working through this book, reading the book, working through the book, and believing, having a belief in holistic wealth. What is the difference between getting rich and getting wealthy?
I think people focus on getting rich. That's You can get rich in assets, you can get rich in money, right? That
Sure.
is solely connected to that, right? You're
Yeah.
rich, you have surplus of income, all the things like that.
Sure.
That's what people typically define wealth as, right? And I think that
Yeah.
that's a whole nother thing. But
Yeah.
when we talk about wealth, when the Bible talks about it, God pictured wealth and had every part of you in mind, right? So
Mm.
if I have money in the bank, but then I am impoverished relationally,
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not
Either I have none or
wealthy.
they're all fake or they're all toxic or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. If I don't have
Am I really
healthy quality
wealthy?
relationships, I'm not really
Yeah.
wealthy. Or
Yeah.
if I have money and good relationships, but then my health is not where it needs to be, where I can't even fully enjoy my family or relationships or the
True.
money God has blessed me with, I am
Yes.
impoverished in my health. That's an area where I'm impoverished. And I
Yeah.
was just talking about this earlier today. Deprivation of any kind is a doorway to poverty.
Man. Man. How so? How so?
How so? When you are deprived, see, when we talk about poverty, right, there are two forms
Yeah.
of poverty. And so when we talk about poverty, we tend to think about those kids over in Africa who don't have water,
Sure.
who don't have shelter, who don't have food,
Sure.
who don't have clothes. That is one side of poverty. And that's what you call absolute poverty. Then you have
Okay.
relative poverty where, okay, I fall beneath the median of what they have said is the normal income per family in
Yeah.
America. So if
Yeah.
somebody is making $70,000 and I make $45,000, then
Yeah.
I'm relatively poor because I fall beneath that
Mm-hmm.
standard or that median, right? And
Yeah.
so I think when we think about poverty, we have only thought about one angle of it, but what they both have in common, both relative and absolute poverty, is deprivation,
Yeah.
right? It's what you are deprived of. So if I'm deprived of love, I am
Yes,
now
I see
opened
it.
up to relational poverty. If I am
Yes.
deprived of security, I'm deprived of emotional, security.
Yes.
If I am deprived of truth, I am now
Yep.
deprived of spiritual. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it goes hand in hand. But what we don't recognize, all of this impacts our financial well-being.
Yes, it does. So
It
if we
influences
only
it.
focus on one and not fix the other, this is why, and I'm sure you know this stat, people that win the lottery, most of them are broke within a year.
Yeah,
They won
yeah,
millions, millions and millions of dollars. Most of them within a year are broke. Is it
yeah.
because they just didn't manage their soul?
It's because I think it's not only they didn't manage their soul, but their mindset, right? Well, obviously the
Yeah.
mind is a part of the soul, but it's what's going on in that soul, right? What did not allow you to connect with the professional, to ask for guidance, to help you develop a structure, to help build a
Ah,
system, to help
yes.
perpetuate this wealth and to get it from generation to generation, right? So if you give somebody $1 million and it's gone within a year, that's solely because you did not put the money in the right
Yeah.
places. You were thinking about consumption, but you're not thinking like an investor. And I think that's something I touch on in my book as well. Having a
Hmm.
consumer mindset versus an investor mindset. A
I tell
consumer
you
is
what,
solely focused on consumption.
my goodness, sir,
And
this is I love the fresh take. And I love the fact that it's you doing it, that it's you doing it, because you have a connection with our creator, our
yeah,
generous, loving creator. And you said two words that are hot buttons for me. You said you didn't have a structure or a system. And when I think about a structure, it's what I build to get the outcome I want.
correct.
And then the system is what I do to work it, you
So it
know?
can get there. Yes,
So we can get
absolutely.
there, so I can make it work, so I can make it work. And
And
so
that's part of that
if you want,
boundary.
yes, that structure involves a boundary. I do this, I don't do that. I do
Correct.
this, I don't do that. And I just think it's phenomenal if you find yourself looking at your, first of all, if you find yourself just not having enough,
Hmm.
don't just look at what am I doing with my money. Look at what's happening in my soul.
What's
Do I
happening
have
in
some,
me?
yeah, what's happening in me? Do I have some unbridled lust? Like look at your money because your money is going to tell you the story. And then you can
Correct.
ask yourself, what does this story mean? What does this
Yep.
story, yeah, what does this story mean? If somebody feels like, um, yeah, I'm not good with money, they just admit it. I'm not good with money. What's the first thing you would tell them?
I'll ask them why do they feel that way because I want to gauge a person's awareness. This is why
Okay.
I named the book The Financial Fast because when we
Ah.
look at fasting or the history of
Mm-hmm.
fasting and connect it back to Eastern religions, most people across several religions they use fasting for a couple reasons.
Yeah.
Number one is to increase their awareness.
Yes.
Fasting helps increase awareness, but then the second thing people use fasting for is to reset the body. So
Yes.
I took those same principles and I said, you know what? If fasting helps increase our awareness on a physical front, and if it helps reset the body on a physical front, financially fasting can help us increase our awareness of what's going on with our money and also help reset our finances. And
I
so
love
I
it.
think you cannot change what you are not aware of. When you say you're not good with money, can you name to me why? I want to know how
Yeah.
aware of you are. I want to know how aware you are because if you are aware, you can change what you are aware of,
And
right?
don't just use it as an excuse. Like
And
when
don't just
people
use it
kind of
as
shrug their shoulders. Well, I'm just not good with money. No, no, something
why.
else is behind there. And I love that
Yeah.
why. Because as a coach, I like to ask people five whys.
Yeah.
Why do
Why?
you say that? Well, why do you do that? Well, why? And you'll get to somewhere, you'll get to some truth in there.
Yeah, because
Somewhere there's a belief that's off.
you went exactly where I was getting ready to go. I asked
Yeah.
my clients this when I'm meeting with them. I tell them, I ask them questions about their financial personality and like how good they are with spending and saving and investing, so forth and so on. Because I always say behavior makes sense in context,
Mm,
right? And behind every set of behavior, there's a belief system that's driving that behavior. And so
yes.
until we can get to that belief system, you keep saying you believe that you are not good with money. You got
Mm-hmm.
stock in that. You believe that. You've convinced yourself of that. So now
Yeah.
the work is unconvincing you and convincing you that you can be good with money. But if you
Yeah.
keep telling yourself that you're not good with money and never excavate to see why you're not good with money,
Mm-hmm.
you never will become good with money. This is how folks can go from being broke to being rich because they believe that they could.
Sir, let me tell you, folks said one of the other reasons why I said I need you to come on the show is because I saw your Instagram reels about celebrities
Ooh.
who were
Yeah.
broke,
Who are broke,
famous and broke.
famous, and broke.
Wait, blinged out. Do people still say bling? Blinged out,
Blinged
dripping,
out, blinged
whatever it
out.
was.
They got the drip. They got their
They got
drip.
the drip and broke. And when I say broke, I mean they were not wealthy. They weren't able to leave an inheritance to their children's children.
Hmm.
And I think that probably one of my most shocking ones for me, I know I saw a couple, was it Aretha Franklin?
Aretha Franklin. Yes.
Oh my goodness. I
Oh,
was like, how do you find these stories? And I love that you find them because it's proving to us stop chasing money. Instead, look at holistic financial education and
yep.
holistic financial health. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at things holistically. So I think with Aretha Franklin specifically, I think her lyrics really revealed her mindset.
Really?
So there's a song that she wrote and she's talked about how she worked hard. She said she
Yeah.
does not need no help,
Yeah.
all the different things. So she was talking about her money.
Oh,
And so her lyrics gave us some insight into her real mindset, and I
yeah.
just said, huh, interesting. And her saying that she didn't need any help, it was evident because you had two wheels, one hidden in your bathroom mirror and the other one hidden inside of your couch cushion, right?
Oh
Not
my word.
not
Not with an
notarized,
attorney.
not with an attorney, written on notebook paper, right?
Oh
And
my
then both of the wheels conflicted each other. So what people have to recognize when it comes to, a person's financial well-being, what they did or did not do, if certain things were not done correctly, public record gets a hold of it so people can have insight into what was going on right with
Ah,
you. And
yeah.
so It caused unnecessary confusion and drama for her family, right? 80 something million dollars gone that her family did not see because she didn't have any tax structure. She didn't have a financial
Oh
advisor that
my
she trusted,
God.
right? So, again, survival mode. Survival mode. When
Yes,
you are in
survival
survival
mode.
mode, you only focus on surviving. You're not thinking about how do I pass this wealth down? How do I establish a structure? What type of counsel do I need in my ear, right,
Yeah.
to help navigate me through handling this money correctly? Where
Yes.
do I put it? Your focus is solely, okay, I got a gift, I got an ability. People are consuming what I'm putting
Yep.
out,
Yeah.
but
And
then
I'm collecting and I can collect and collect and collect.
I'm collecting, but I have not gotten a revelation of placement. I
Yes.
don't know where
Which
to
means
place
no
this money.
structure,
No
no
structure and no
system.
system. And I think that reveals why God won't prosper
Come on now.
so many people. It's because you're asking him for the wealth, you're asking him for the money, you're asking for the resource, but have you taken the time to build the structure? Because what's going to happen if you think that once you get the money, you will then build the structure, you're
You
deceived.
won't. You're
You
deceived.
won't.
Let me tell
Because you're
you,
distracted by the money.
sir, let me tell you, as a small business owner, my business makes big impact, but I have a team of big people. So I don't need a
Hmm.
lot of people. But when I tell you, the work you start a business because you love whatever the business does. I told my
Hmm.
bookkeeper that, if someone opens a sandwich restaurant, they don't do it because they love math. They do it because they love sandwiches,
Correct.
And they
Correct.
can have the most amazing sandwiches, and yet people are buying it. You frame that first dollar and you don't know where the other dollars go. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I remember trying to keep up when I went full time for myself. So I've done this kind of work for over 20 some years, but when I went full time for myself, I
Hmm.
had my hands on my temples with tears coming down my face. I said, God, I need help. And I was feeling like I should be able to handle this. I should be able to keep all the books. I should be able. But that's a lie.
It's a
You
lie.
need professional people to help you.
You
And
need
in
professionals.
that moment, this was my first financial miracle. I had my head down like this. I have a family member that hired me to do a coaching session because she wanted to launch a business.
Hmm.
That was 2 years before this moment. I had forgotten about it. I said, what do you love about your job? She said, believe it or not, the one thing I love about my job is balancing every little penny. I said, child, you ought to do that. And I told her about the sandwich thing, right?
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
child, you ought to do that. People pay you to do that. Now, meanwhile, I got a job and a business. I'm working and working and paying the price for it. So
Yeah.
now God pushes me out of the boat. I'm working for myself full time. I got my hands on my temple, tears rolling down, me saying, God, I need help. In
Yeah.
this moment, I get a text message from her. She says, hey, family, I finally did it. It's been 2 years. And she launched a company that balances the books.
See there?
I said, let me tell you, I have a bookkeeper, I have an accountant, and I introduced the two of them.
Yeah.
You don't feel like, and I think it's also a poverty thing. You tell me what you feel
Sure.
when people don't talk about money. They
You
don't want to
know,
talk about savings and money and investment. They don't want to talk about it.
you know what I've come to find out? In working in a predominantly white organization
Yes.
where we are the minority,
Yes.
I've learned that these people openly and willingly discuss.
They just talk
They
about money.
willing talk about money, talk about strategies of what they can do, X, Y, and Z, and what they have established in the trust, what's going where. They will talk to you about what's in safe. They openly talk about these things. And for me, when I first started working in the finance sector, I was uncomfortable because I'm like, we
Y'all
don't
just talking about money
discuss
like
this
this.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we don't
Nobody
discuss
talks
this
about
stuff
that.
openly.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you telling people
Uh-huh.
what you have? Like, no, that's not a concern for them. And I think even with them telling me that they even talk to their children about this stuff. They said,
Yeah.
why? Because one day when I die, they have to know how to operate this stuff. They have to know how to access this stuff and what to do with it, so forth and so on. And that revealed something to me. It's like, wow, poverty. I really, again, going back to the examination thing, that whole
Sure.
secrecy thing, that whole
Yes.
silence thing, that whole, I have a module I created for Wealth Labs, and it's called the missing conversation. The missing conversation in
Mm.
the Black community is money. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about a lot of different things. If you got molested by Uncle Joe, don't talk
We'll talk
about
about
that.
that.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And then whatever's going on financially, if the lights are out,
we'll
don't
talk
talk
about that.
about that. You know what I mean? Like,
Ooh,
I got repossessed. We don't talk about that. We have learned to like avoid talking about certain things. You just there and you
yeah.
are absorbing and you just have to experience it without no explanation. And I think that's the most harmful thing that
And
could
so it's
ever.
unprocessed, isn't it?
It's unprocessed. And so I just made a video about this the other day and I put it on Instagram and I talked about how from ages 0 to 7, as a child, your brain is in what's called a theta state. And in that state, you are literally absorbing everything around you with no filter, with no resistance, with no gauge to know
It's
what's
just
right or
going
what's
in.
wrong. And so if you watched your parents go through stuff financially, not pay bills on time, have to go from house to house, having cars repossessed, all the different things, your nervous system, your brain is recording all of that stuff. And if you don't recognize, I'm sorry, you don't recognize it until later on in life, that thing was building a blueprint the whole entire time. And you're trying to figure out
Wait,
what
you said blueprint, meaning a pattern for building.
a pattern for building, a pattern for how you engage and handle money.
My gosh.
So if
So we
you
need
don't
a
talk
new
about money,
blueprint, which
we
means
need
we
a
do need to talk to somebody. We need somebody outside of us to bring us up,
correct,
to
correct.
help us. Yeah.
Correct. Like you did. Like, hey, my thing is not finance, it's coaching, it's leadership. So
Come
you
on.
brought somebody in that was able to help build. Because
Yes.
what I've learned, because I
And I
have
told her,
business,
I don't want you just to balance my books. I want you to teach me.
how to
Where's
do it,
my money going? What do I need to do next? Yes.
how
Yes.
to do it. I
Yes.
have a client, he is a 7-figure earning client, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his thing is not the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is not the numbers. And I worked with him along with other high earning individuals. And what I've come to find out is that these people are good at what they're good at, and
Yep.
they are not good at what they're not good at. And
But they're
for,
smart enough to know.
but they're smart enough to know, like, I need to bring somebody in that can help
Yeah.
me get this stuff together. Because what I've learned too in observation is that business owners don't have the time sometimes to create the structure that they really need for their
No,
continued growth.
I
And
really don't.
you cannot scale beyond your structure or your systems.
No, no.
And so they're trying to figure out, where's the income gap? Why is money falling through? Why is it not going to where it needs to go? It's because you don't have the systems that's going to allow you to scale. You don't have the
So bring
structure that's going to
somebody in
allow
to
you to
build it. Yeah,
correct.
because this is what we feel. I'm gonna tell you what we feel as a business owner. You feel the pressure of I've got to keep the machine running.
Yep.
If I stop to do this, who's there's not gonna be anything to count. So I got to keep it moving. I got to keep it going. But that's the beauty of having a financial team
Having a
that
financial
educates,
team.
that helps build systems, helps give you structure that you need. I love it. Okay. I know we got to wrap it up. I'm going to put you on the hot seat. You ready?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All
Let's
right. I'm
go.
going to put you on the hot seat and then we'll do a little something extra for Patreon. But this has been so good. I think it's given me fresh perspective of how
Mm,
shame works to even keep people impoverished
sure.
and how to deal with how to pull that thread to get that out of people
Sure.
even before they begin to save a single dime, to get that stuff out. But all right, here we go. Stocks or real estate?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I would say stocks.
All right. Budget or no budget?
Budget.
Save first or invest first?
Save first.
Save first. Smart. One money habit everyone should stop immediately.
Mindlessly spending.
Mindless. Oh, like mindless eating. I get it. One book every leader should read about money.
The psychology of money.
This really the psychology of money.
Or
I
the
was gonna
financial
say the
fast.
financial fast, man. Read yours first, then we get the psychology of money. All right.
Yeah.
The biggest financial mistake that you see people make.
Um, I see people quickly throw money into stocks and in bonds or,
Mhm.
into the market and they have no liquidity saved up. That's not impacted by market
Ah,
volatility. So I tell people
okay.
all the time when they want to invest with
That's why
me,
you said save first, then invest.
save first
Got
then
it.
invest because if the market goes down, right, and you
Yeah,
put all your liquid cash in the market and you
yeah,
don't have any
yeah,
safe from volatility,
yeah.
that's not going to help you. And so I tell people all the time, do not play Russian roulette with your financial well-being. This is
Don't
not
do
the
it.
casino.
Don't do it. Here's the last one, and this is an easy one: legacy or lifestyle?
Legacy.
Legacy, yeah.
Legacy.
Man, this has helped us so much. Thank you so much. I love your passion for this, and I love that you don't treat people like machines.
Yeah.
And just talking to you, I can tell that when you work with your clients, you work with each person individually based on what's going on in them, what needs to heal, what needs
Yep.
to, and I think that a lot of that has to do with your ministry training and the call on your life that you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
look
for
at us
sure.
and you see someone that God made,
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
who is not built for, God didn't make you to be under. He made you
Yeah.
to be the head and not the tail. And so,
Yes.
yeah. And so I think anyone working with you would be tremendously honored because you're full of compassion, full of knowledge, but then at the same time, not just sell you a system and say good luck with that, but to actually have a conversation with you and see what's going on with you. So
The individual, yes.
yeah. So thanks so much for being my guest, guys. If you are a part of Patreon, the amazing Mr. Jimmy E. Mitchell II is going to stick around, and we're going to talk about money in the faith arena, huh? Because sometimes it goes good, sometimes it goes bad,
Yes.
but we're going to talk about it. So stick around for just a few more minutes. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching the Culturalist Podcast Conversations with Pam Ross and my guest today, the amazing Jimmy E. Mitchell. All of his links are in the show notes. So follow, get in his school, do all the things. Love y'all. Catch me on social media at PR The Builder. Visit me online at pamross.com. Catch you next time.